Okay, so this actually has quite a bit of formatting on it, and I've actually already been asked on how to do some of it. So, what we made a text box here earlier, delete it. There's actually a label option. Just draw that. I decided to call mine form for query inputs. It's kind of a pointless name. Make it whatever you want. You just kind of need something there. So, I will also come to format here and kind of play with whatever you want. Um, so font weight, generally change that to bold. Text size, I'll probably bump that up quite a bit. A header. Okay. So that's what I'm going to use. Make sure whenever you change these things, it's going to change the size of it. You can also add in pictures and things to these. I think in class he actually had a picture uh, in the body of his report. I don't know if I'm going to go that far. You know what? I might. I have a fun picture I like to use, so. So I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to change all these to Times New Roman. Yeah, Times New Roman, and then also bold them all. Like 12, I think it's easy. Down here. I believe might make it angry, but all right. So you can't select the frame. You can select all of these. You should actually be able to go with bold. We'll come over here. Times. Up. Much. I just want it noticeably larger. It still fits in my button. I'll have to reshape it. You can also make this. There's a way to kind of bevel the edges of the button. It's been a long time since we've done it. It really serves no purpose other than to make it look pretty. I'm gonna select just the label for this now. Name 12. Font weight bold. Select the summary. Now I'm actually not going to bold this one. Uh, I don't think it needs to be. I think you want it to be noticeable that these are a different thing than the rest. So I don't want to make it look like my label for the whole thing. But I want it to make it all the same font. It just looks weird if it's not, you know. I'm actually going to resize this box as well. It's quite a bit wider than it needs to be. I always think you either need to be all the same size or just make it fit. The other thing is that while we have this drop down menu, it's covering this up. So we'll kind of play with it to make everything fit a little better. Then take all of those, arrange, align them left, highlight all of this. I'm going to try and eyeball this ballpark of what's left here. So when this drops down, the box is still pretty wide. You can actually change that. I believe it's this column width. Let's take it down to 0.5. List width. I'm keeping it probably right there. It looks like the exact size of my box. You can go a little closer. I think it looks fine. Now the other reason I left it like this is I think I might drop this down here. Keeps it all in one line. You're not having to cross over. This way you're also not working straight down and then having to jump. I just kind of think it's a little more intuitive. I just don't really like how it's touching. So a few other things to play with because we also have to consider how those are no longer. I'm going to pull this here and intentionally make it, intentionally make just these lower than their counterpart. So if I can grab those, then grab this corner. Usually. The three of these now. Arrange. I'm going to highlight the two that they pair with. To the top. And top. Highlight those. I don't know why that's not letting me come any closer. Once again, you're going to have to move them individually. Pain in the ass. So there's no point in us having just aligned them to top. Top. I'm actually going to align them to the right first. And then the left. That way if there was one closer than I wanted, pull it all back to the right. So let's take a look at it again. Get another feel for where it's at. Like I said, I don't really like it touching. But I also don't really want this to be under it. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to create a little space. I'm going to move my button. I'm going to try and put it right under that. I'm going to try and put my button the right corner lined up with. So I like this because you can come straight down the line. Doesn't cover anything up. It's a little, I don't like having to move like that, but I think that's fine. All of our text is the same. These are a bit bigger. The button's nice and big. I think overall, you can't complain about the formatting of that. As far as formatting, I guess I'm going to have to give it something. The report, I don't know how much you want to format it. You could go through individually, highlight them, and do everything we just did. Change your, your text to Times New Roman. I would bold these and leave everything that comes from the tables unbolded. So all your headers, your cusno, your trans, your charges, but the actual charges themselves, these, I would not bold. But everything else, I mean, this would be larger, but all of the body is going to be Times New Roman, size 12. Only the labels are going to be bolded. Everything else is just going to be regular weight, which is literally normal. It's the same thing. And I'm probably going to go through and do it to every one of them, but to reduce such a methodical video, I think that's about all I'm going to do, because I think that's all the formatting you're going to need. So I hope that helps. And this should actually wrap up the entirety of Project